Okay, so you just booked your flight, you're getting ready for the trip, and you just invested close to $500 for this GoPro 11, but you have no idea how to set this up. Well, you're in luck. In today's video, I'm going to show you some of my favorite settings so you can set and forget and focus on your trip instead. Boom! Let's go. Hey, welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed that little montage I made with a little retro touch to it. Just to let you guys know, all of the video clips that you saw just now uses the same exact video settings that I'll be giving you. Hey, but before we do that, I need you to hit subscribe and hit the like button and help other people such as yourself see my video and help them out with some of the video settings. Okay, so how do you actually change your profile underwater if you're the underwater proof case on? It's very simple. So all you need to do is make sure that you hit the mode button and the shutter button all pretty much at the same time. So you're going to do a 1-2 action on the GoPro 11's 1-2 like that, and that's how you get into the mode that allows you to change your profiles. And then to change your actual profiles, you just hit the mode button multiple times until you see it. And to confirm the profile that you actually want, all you need to do is hit the shutter button and that confirms it. My favorite setting is definitely the 5.3K 60 frames per second with linear plus horizon. And then the next one is 5K 30, 5K 30, 8x7 using the full frame for vertical videos. I also like to use a 5K hyper view video as well, just because it's a very wide and different perspective. And I also have this custom 8x7. And the benefit of using the 8x7 in 4K is that you can get 60 frames per second, meaning you can slow the footage down later. And I have a couple slow motion presets. So I have activity mode, which is 4K 120. The 2.7K honestly is a little bit pushing it. It's 240 frames per second. This is what I call ultra slow-mo. The footage would look a little soft. If you output that on a 1080p timeline, that's okay. It still looks acceptable and good enough. Everything in the Pro Tune section and below is all going to be the same for all 7 profiles that we'll be setting. The only thing that you're really changing is resolution, frames per second, the lens, and hyper smooth. Looking at our camera right here, we have 5.3K at 60 frames per second. The lens I have on is linear plus leveling. And hyper smooth, I really enjoyed this brand new mode on the 11 is the auto boost. It's intelligently going to select how much it's going to crop in. On the Pro Tune side, I have 10-bit on, bitrate high. Shutter, I had kept it as auto. EV comp, set it as -0.5. White balance, I keep it at auto. I know sometimes you might want to change and lock down the white balance, but remember, we want to set and forget, so I don't want to have to change the white balance every single time. Especially if I'm underwater, I have a GoPro case on, there's no way I can change the white balance. ISO minimum 100, ISO maximum, I kept it at 800. Anything above 800, like 1600, 32, it gets so noisy, it's really hard to use. But if you do have to, I'd rather you get the shot, so bump it up to 1600, and I think that is max. Sharpness, I kept it at medium. Color, I have it on natural. Some people prefer flat. I would say this, you can have flat if you plan on actually doing some color correction post-production, but if you're lazy or you just want to keep things simple, just use natural. I never use vivid. Raw audio off, wind off. If you only have the GoPro Hero 9 or the 10 and you don't get the 60 frames at 5K, don't worry, use the 30 frames per second. Now, I use this a lot during low light situation. The main advantage that you get at 5K 30 frames per second versus the 60 is that your lens, you get linear plus horizon lock, meaning that you can turn this thing 360 degrees and it's gonna stay horizon leveled. Hyper Smooth, I kept it on auto boost. Everything under Pro Tune is going to be exactly the same. Onto the next setting, which is the 5K 30, but with an 8x7. This is a whole new mode that only exists on the GoPro 11. Pretty amazing because it uses the full width sensor, so you can crop in and do vertical videos. I like this mode because you don't have to turn the camera like this and you still be able to get a vertical image out of it just by cropping in. It's a nice mode to have. Is it that significant for me as a reason to buy the GoPro 11? No. Right now I have it at 5K 30. The aspect ratio is 8x7 and lens is always going to be wide. You can't change it. And hyper smooth is on. You don't get auto boost, it's either on or off, so definitely keep it on. My last 5K is going to be in the hyper view mode. Again, hyper view is brand new on the GoPro 11. It's wider than super view. It's about 12mm lens equivalent. Super view is about 16. So hyper view is this like really squished image. I do not recommend using this mode underwater because of the refraction that you have to deal with and the density of the water. It just looks hella weird, especially if you have the GoPro case on. The edges are just super distorted, and Hyper Smooth 5.0 does weird things to it. This is a mode that I would say is good for driving, good for POV. You can take advantage of a really wide point of view. Take a look at this. So wide, super view, hyper view, pretty insane. And then linear plus horizon lock. Huge difference. At 5.3K, we have 30 frames per second, auto boost on, everything else below exactly the same. I also have the 8x7 and 4K. The difference between the 4K and 5K in the 8x7 mode is that you get 60 frames per second, so you can slow things down afterwards in post. And Hyper Smooth I have is on. You can't go auto boost or anything because that's really pushing the limit of this processor. Then I have the 4K 120, I have Linear Plus on, and then for ultra slow motion, I have 2.7K at 240 frames with Linear Plus as well, just because I want to have the most stable image possible whenever I'm doing slow motion, and I want it to be at least distorted as possible. So I have it on Linear Plus. Okay, so these are the settings that I use the most on a daily basis. Now that you have your settings dialed in, oh my God. Watch this next video to show you how to auto upload onto the GoPro cloud. Yes, yeah! Yeah! Oh!